Cornelia Gamlem, and I'm joining from Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Hi, and I'm Barbara Mitchell. I'm joining from Washington, D.C. After knowing each other both professionally and personally for over 10 years, Cornelia and I started writing together, and now we've written several books together. This all began when a colleague and I had written another book, and then we were asked by our publisher to write a second book. We declined, and I thought that I could write it myself until I found out that the publisher was giving me a very short deadline to write a very big book. And so I turned to my friend Cornelia and asked whether or not she would consider writing the book with me. The rest is history.
Barbara, people always ask about our writing partnership. Let's share some parts of a conversation we've had about that very topic and how our latest book, The Decisive Manager, came about.
Let's talk about the book, but before we do that, you've been a writing pair for a very long time. And so let's talk about the origins of this book and how you all work together, because one of you is in DC, the other one's in New Mexico, which of course nowadays we're used to that. So tell us about the origins of this book and the process of writing it, and then we'll start digging into it.
Okay, well, I was going to say that, our story started when we wrote the first edition of the Big Book of HR. And I think that's how we set out how we were going to work best together. And one of the things we always did is we met every week when we were both in the same geographic area. And then once I moved, we had already recognized we had to stay in constant contact, if you will. And we do a weekly meeting, telephonic meeting. We were doing this before COVID hit, so we were just used to jumping on the phone every Tuesday. That's how our process has really evolved. I'll let Barbara tell you a little bit more about the origins of this particular book.
All right.
Well, one of the things I think, just to your point, Mac, about how we work together, I think the real reason that we work well together, we've written multiple books together, and we're still good friends, which I think is remarkable considering how that doesn't always work. But one of the reasons that's happened is that we respect each other's strengths. We do not have the same strengths. Yes, we both write, but we have different strengths within the HR business community. And so we never get in each other's way. We will collaborate, but we don't critique each other's work or and ever get in the way of turning out a good product. The person who needs to write it is the person who writes it. And I think that's a key to a writing partnership.
So in your writing partnership, which of you is the one that has to spur the other one on? Or do you both kind of keep it going?
No.
That would definitely be me. I recognized early on, and Barbara admitted, I need deadline.
For any of you that are Myers-Briggs people, I am on the P. I'm off the charts on a P. I would never finish anything because I'm always looking to do it differently, do it better, learn something from it, but finish something. Why would I want to finish it? There's always more to do. And when you have a publishing deadline, that does not work.
So when you were writing this, was that your intention to sort of make this a book that would answer the questions that we might not even know how to ask? And then when I discover there's 5 or 6 more questions that I didn't know I need to know the answer to, but thank God I do. How did you come up with this format?
Well, I think it started, we had written another book a few years back called The Manager's Answer Book. And that really looked across the whole spectrum of management, not just the people management issues. And we've had successes with that book. It's been recognized. And then we kind of got the idea, well, maybe we need to do like a follow-up to that book that just focuses on some of the people problems, the things that a manager will encounter. And like you say, they don't even know what they don't know, or they didn't even know that this is something that could happen to them. That was how we set out to write this book, The Decisive Manager. Lots of memories over the years, especially when we look back on some of those book signing events that we've had. But when we think about our writing process over the years, it changed slightly with each book that we wrote because each one was a little bit different, but it certainly has gotten easier.
Indeed, it has, especially with our latest book, The Decisive Manager. I hope that our readers will take along the message that this book is for anyone who is working with people. It's a challenge to manage people, especially in our ever-changing world.
And I hope when people read this book, they realize that despite how much guidance and how many answers the book contains, working with and managing people is never predictable. You always have to be ready for the unexpected.
To find more information about us, go to our website at bigbookofhr.com or contact us on LinkedIn so we can stay in touch.